G'day, I'm Richard Felsted. In fact, Lion Richard Felsted. On the 27th of November 2018, many members of the Lions Club of Lavington, New South Wales, Australia, visited the Bonegilla Migrant Experience. The Bonegilla Migrant Reception and Training Centre was once made up of 24 blocks. It had its own churches, banks, sporting fields, cinema, hospital, police station and a railway platform. Today, Block 19 is all that remains of the original site. Bonegilla Migrant Experience brings to life the stories and experiences of the people who travelled through the centre. The Bonegilla story began in the years following World War II, when millions of people seeking a new start and peace departed for Australia. An army camp at Bonegilla was transformed into a migrant reception and training centre, where new arrivals lived while they were processed and allocated jobs. Bonegilla became the largest and longest operating reception centre in the post-war era. More than 300,000 migrants passed through its doors between 1947 and 1971, with most of these originating from non-English speaking European countries. They had diverse arrival and settlement experiences, unsure of where they were going and what they would be doing. Others saw Bonegilla as a place of hope, symbolic of a new start. In December 2007, the Bonegilla Migrant Reception and Training Centre, Block 19, was recognised as a place with powerful connections for many people in Australia and a symbol of post-war migration, which transformed Australia's economy, society and culture under the National Heritage List. Today, Block 19 is a public memory place. The site and its associated oral, written and pictorial records in the Bonegilla collection at the Albury Library Museum bring to light post-war immigration policies and procedures that changed the composition and the size of the Australian population.
So welcome everyone to Bonegilla. So out there what we can see is what we call Block 19. So while the Migrant Reception Centre was fully in operation, Block 19 was actually the staff quarters. So as you walk around, you'll notice a lot of the huts were lined, for example. They weren't lined for most of the migrants themselves when they arrived. So the huts themselves were in a better condition than what they were for a lot of the migrants. Plus they did get upgraded a little bit as we went over the years as well. So if you have a look here, this is Block 19. All of the huts that are in red and blue are the ones that are still standing out there. The others have long since been demolished or moved on or sold off. But if you wanted just to, those of you, if you can have a look to this over here, you'll see up here, this is Block 19 itself. That's what we can see out there. But this here is the camp itself when it was fully operational. So you can see there were more than 26 blocks, more than 800 buildings. So it operated between 47 and 71, and during that time 320,000 people came through here, just Bonegilla alone. So we weren't the only reception centre, but we were the first, the largest and the longest running. So we reckon about 1 in 20 people would have a link to someone who actually came through Bonegilla itself. So do we have any as part of our group here?
No, I was going to ask a question. Actually, we do have somebody as part of our group.
You've got to figure out.
Yeah, so what was your time?
1956 we come over, the Dutch.
The Dutch, okay, yep. So you came through here? Yeah.
We've had it for 2 years.
For 2 years in Bonegilla itself? So you worked here?
The dad was, well, I was only 5.
Yeah.
Dad was a baker.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was this day. And then when he moved out of here, he was a baker in Lavington.
Oh wow. Well, that's terrific.
Yeah.
So do you know what block number that they were in before they went into Block 19? No, so I will be able to give you some information where you'll actually be able to get all of that. It will tell you the exact dates, what block numbers your family lived in, all of that sort of stuff. So I will show you how you can actually request that information. So, but you would have then lived in this block, more than likely, as staff. So you would have probably lived in Block 19 as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so anybody else who's got any ties or
I used to come out here for holidays.
holidays? Yeah, oh, there you go.
My grandfather was a boiler keeper here.
Okay, yep,
No, over in...
as part of the army?
No,
or
part of the camp itself.
the camp itself?
When they
Yep.
had the boilers for the laundry and everything like that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Terrific. Well, there you go.
Retired engine driver, so that He used to come out here and we'd come out for holidays.
Holidays. Well, some people did come back, depending on their memories. So,
I have a little contact with it. Go on, Renata.
I lived here for 7 years. My mother worked in the camp.
Okay.
The reason we lived here that long was because my father was killed. We were only here 2.5 years.
Oh.
In a work accident.
Yeah.
And when I was old enough, I moved to Melbourne, but my mother still worked here a little bit longer, and then eventually moved to Melbourne.
Oh, okay. So have you got all their documents as well?
Probably not.
No, so again, I'll be able to give you some information.
Okay, I mean, I remember a lot of it myself.
Oh, terrific.
Yes.
Oh, well, feel free to jump in as we're walking around and add any stories that you might remember. So what years were they?
1955, we arrived here, on 13th of January 1955. We moved to Block 1.
Ah, so whereabouts
And it was
from?
stinking hot from Germany, and it was stinking hot. Nothing else.
Yeah, the weather, the flies, the food, lots of things we'll talk about as we go around that people generally that you would see here would have been covered by these huts with all of these people all speaking different language everywhere. It was, when it was built, that it was cleared, so there weren't the trees. It wasn't as, you know, quite as pretty or even as peaceful as it necessarily looks here. Most of the camp, as you saw inside, was on the other side of the road, and it was actually quite hilly there as well, whereas here you sort of get the impression that it was quite flat, but it's actually not if you have a look over the other side where Latchford Barracks is. So you can imagine arriving here where you would have honestly thought you'd pretty much arrived in the middle of nowhere, because there was nothing else around other than just the paddocks and the huts themselves. All the claymation in here, but it's movement centred. So as soon as it senses someone, it's going to start going, so which is why I stopped here. So I kind of want you to gather and then move in as quickly as you can together, and then just up to the end where the seats are.
I had to check that all the huts were kept clean and tidy and functional. I had to see that the food was good and that the place ran well. I also tried to help the new Australians adjust to their new country. I was forever trying to get them into various.
Okay, so as you can see from that little claymation there, people's memories and experiences were quite different. It often depended on the reasons why they came and what age they were as well. So the first group of people that came were the displaced people. So they were the people that had been living in refugee camps for 2 years or more since the war. So they didn't have a home to go back to, or they didn't want to go back home, for example. They didn't want to live under Russian rule for a whole range of reasons. So the conditions in the refugee camp weren't great. So the food, as you can imagine, you can see by the kitchen, was, you know, food produced in a mass-produced style, realistically. You know, some people say they got food, you know, some people say they weren't necessarily that different to what Australians were eating. But the one thing the migrants will remember is mutton. Okay, lots and lots of mutton, or boiled mutton, or mutton done in different ways, and boiled vegetables to go with it. And mutton is a smell I think most of you have smelled. It's one that's hard to forget. And a lot of the migrants actually never ate lamb again. So even when they come back, and we have children and grandchildren of the migrants when we talk about it, and they go, so I did read one of the ladies said that witness with the migrants now food got a lot better, and it's exactly right. Quite honestly, when I have stories in the primary school kids and I go, so what foods do you think we eat now because of the migrants? And they literally, they go, sushi, or they, you know, you have to really prompt them to think about pasta or spaghetti. was the staff quarters, and as Renata was able to say, this was where a lot of the staff would gather for some of the social occasions. So they would have dances and things like this here. There was a beer garden out the back.
Where everyone's buried. His hometown. Looks sort of Spanish. It's the...
Well, it's Mediterranean, so it's like stone, really Greece. Yeah, he didn't have his own business, that's for sure.
So normally we would be, what you can see up there is the memorial arc. You can see the wall up there. And as I said, that's just a tribute, I guess, to the families who came through Bonegilla. As I said, everyone that came through here, and indeed the other migrant camps, is a massive part of Australia and what we have today, the culture we have. They truly did build us. So families who have come through Bonegilla, or people who themselves have links, they're able to actually buy a plaque, and we put it up on the wall, and it talks about the family, the year they came through, the names, and where they actually came from as well. So it's a great thing to have, really good. The kids, the grandkids love seeing, their family names that are up there. When we have school groups as well, it's actually quite good because we walk them around and you can see the different nationalities that came in different ways, and you can also talk about, these were the people from the Baltic countries and this is what happened and why they came at that time, and different nationalities came at different times, sometimes because of the different civil unrest that was happening in their countries and things like that. So it really is quite awesome and quite moving for families as well. But we're just going to head down to this building down here. Alright, well there is some up there, but no. So this is your toilet and your shower block, which I'll let you have a quick look. One of the things to notice though is that the showers have no doors, okay? So one of the things that was another adjustment was the complete lack of privacy that the migrants had. So you have to remember, built as an army camp for a bunch of blokes we were going to send off to war. They didn't need, doors or anything like that. They weren't going to have any of these niceties when they were out there doing the fighting for us. So it was a big adjustment for them. And on top of that, this side of the road was the side that had sewage. So over the other side where the majority of the blocks were, for many, many years there were no sewage over there. So it was the long drop. A lot of you might be a little bit familiar with that. Yes. However, the big difference was it was one plank with 20 holes and no privacy in between. And this is what, and of course Europe was far more advanced than we were in regards to sewage and that sort of stuff. So on top of the lack of privacy where they did manage to have a block like this, there was also, where you got to know your neighbours a little bit better than you probably wanted to, really. So,
past the Women's Weekly, page 5.
Yes. even quite confronting though, like you can imagine having to shower with a whole bunch of people that you've never met or even known, and there's no doors or privacy or anything in between.
Well, the kids have got to watch as well though, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. Bill, look out, the monster!
We won't hold it.
What's the share?
No, the big one.
Sorry, it's right up there.
The tap's on there. Tap's on there. Probably not, just give it a second. Oh, I was going to tell you.
Imagine these taps are should be because if there's 3 or 4 of them people.
Everyone enjoyed it and you learned something and got something out of it as well. And As I said, you're always welcome to come back and have a wander around. I know you don't get time necessarily to read all of the displays and everything else like that, but yeah, thank you for coming out and coming to visit us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
No, you're welcome.
Diane, I get the name.
Oh, it's all right. It's okay.
It's great. There's a few of us who our family who come through here, so that was really interesting. And I was talking to my father on the weekend about it, and I actually saw the date that he arrived, and he could remember. So that was interesting. That I can go back and tell him. This is when he actually did arrive in Australia. So
Yeah.
So you didn't put your hand up and say you were part of, even though you
can, for sure.
didn't want to tell us that at the start?
Okay.
That's alright. And for those that do have linkers or set up, there's some things there that can show you. Everyone who came through here was given a Bonegilla card. So on every single person. So on that card it will tell you the exact dates that you were here, how you arrived, what block number you stayed in. Depending on what year you were, it will also potentially have a photo. And you can request that from the National Archives for free. So you just go onto their website and you can request that for any family members or people that you might know. So that just next to the computer, that little booklet there, that actually gives you the instructions on how you can go on and do that. But if you're stuck, you can come out here anytime and someone will help you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No worries.
Just show our appreciation, please.